Hola, bom dia! Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show on this, the very special Portugal Day. Now, I would like to talk about Portugal Day, but I really honestly have to say to you, I'm not sure we're going to have time this morning because we've already had a real blast talking to my guest this morning. Nina Thompson, live from Castelo Branco, is here. How are you doing, Nina?
Good morning. Good morning to you, Carl, and to everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're most welcome and very happy Portugal Day to you.
And to you, bon feriado, as they say here. Bon feriado.
Very good. That is a great start, I have to say, Nina. And you did mention that you might speak a salad of languages this morning, and
Yes.
that's because we're going to find out more about you this morning. But you're not. You might have a little bit of Portuguese going on there, but you're from where exactly?
Well, I was born and raised in America. My father's from Liverpool, England. Go Liverpool!
Oh,
and my mother is from Germany.
Yeah.
They met in London, and then my sisters and I were born in America. We also had a summer home in Canada where we lived for 13 years every summer for 2-3 months, which was it's a second home in my heart. It's a beautiful place.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're one of these global citizens for sure then. And now you've ended up in Castelo Branco in Portugal.
Yes. Well, yes, it's a bit of a long story, but it's a good story. I had an opportunity while I was living in Colorado. I spent about 12 years there. I had an opportunity to be a personal cook and assistant in Ireland.
Wow.
And so I took the job. I said, why not, you know? And I then, they had properties both in Ireland and in Northern Ireland. And so I met a fellow. There's always a fellow in my case. And so I met a fellow, and he, David is his name. We're good friends still. And he and I, let's see, while I was in Northern Ireland, we had learned that we both appreciated and had looked forward to enjoying the simple life, the good life, so to speak. Growing our own food and living off of the grid, building our home, that kind of thing. Yeah. And in the process, we were talking about getting a puppy. And I thought, well, I'm not sure, you know, lots of responsibility. At any rate, we started to look online, and we found a group of pups, and I said, oh my goodness, I think that's the one. I've been having dreams of a black dog running toward me. And so I made and canceled the appointment twice. And the third time we said, well, let's just go have a look at the puppy. And which of course was my first lesson, that one doesn't just simply have a look at a puppy. They generally tend to come home with you. So
absolutely.
So she then, as you know, with puppies, I'm sure you're aware, they need to be fed, they need to be walked, they have to do their business and so forth. And in the process, we had met a couple who had another puppy named Tucker, and Luna and Tucker became the best of mates. So while David and I were talking about moving to another country, we had tossed around different countries in Europe and thinking about where we would like to go. The couple who had the other puppy said, have you ever thought of Portugal? And my brain clicked back a bit and said, it is its own country. I remembered that. I'm one of the few Americans that does. It has the long, It has the longest running allied relationship in the history of the world, and it has an unusual language. Those were the only three things I could remember about Portugal.
Well, that's good enough, isn't it?
I think it's fair enough. My father said I did well. So at any rate, so we looked online, and sure enough, pureportugal.co.uk popped up. And so we started looking online, and we were looking at different properties, and we tossed around the idea, and sure enough, about another year had passed. We're not very quick to decision making, at least I'm not. And so we then decided to put the house on the market, and it sold in about 3 months. And so I said, you know, perhaps we need to visit the country before we move there. Yeah. So we were out on the 30th of November at midnight, and at about 11 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of December, we were in Faro. It was a tad surreal. We hopped on a train. We met 3 young lads, students who were returning to Lisbon, and they said, where are you going to stay? We said, we don't know. They gave us a suggestion of a lovely hostel where we met 2 Americans and a Brit. The number 3 turns up a bit. And so they said, come join us for dinner. So we said, okay. So we apparently when one goes out to dinner in Lisbon, especially with younger people, you have to march into every single cafe and pub and hole in the wall and have a drink and have a drink and have a drink, and then you go have dinner.
Just like the old play.
And then you have to march your way back down and have a drink and have a drink and do a little dancing and then make your way back down. So the next day we were a little hungover, and we did some exploring in Lisbon, where I did actually utilize, you know, email and set up some appointments to go visit some properties in Leiria, Serta, Pedro de Grande, Penamacor.
Oh yeah.
At which point we had passed by Castelo Branco twice, and we were like, oh, okay, you know. We still hadn't found anything, and we made our way back to Ireland, Northern Ireland, and now we were homeless. What we owned was all in the Jeep. We still had the dog, of course, and so we rented a caravan in December and January with no heat. So that was a bit challenging. It was. We had one night, there were 129, no, yes, I think it was 129 mile-per-hour winds one night. You know, we were strapping ourselves in and hanging on. So I suggested, how about we just go rent a caravan or something in Portugal, and if we don't like it, we can always return. So we set sail from Dublin. We landed in Cherbourg. We were offered a week free in Brittany, which the dog and I loved it. We were like, this is great. My friend said, nope. Too much like home, too cold, need to head south. We said, okay. So we made our way through France and Spain. And each night, because I'm not so technologically savvy, we would knock on doors, so to speak, at the hotels and ask if they would accept dogs. In France, no problem. They said, it's a small dog. Oui? I said, oui. So we brought her in, this 35-kilo Akita, 35-kilo Ida. And they said, ooh la la. At any rate, on our way down.
By the way, Nina, on the screen on the right there, we can see the lovely Nina, who's on a holiday at the moment. I think she's on a spa break somewhere, but there she is. The breed, you say, a Hachiku, a Japanese breed, right?
Yes, she is a mix of an American and Japanese Akita.
Wow.
We think she has a very strong Japanese line. She has no papers, but she's priceless to me. She was born in West Belfast, actually, and my friend David was born in East Belfast, so occasionally they duke it out, you know.
Of course. Sorry, I interrupted you there. So I think you're in France by now, with the French thinking, I'm not sure if we can let this so-called little dog into our establishment here. So what happens next?
Well, so we made our way through France. Luna did great. She didn't, you know, she was really good on the first night. Second night, she would tend to get very protective of the hotel or motel we were staying in.
Yes.
At any rate, so we slowly made our way through Spain. I don't want to make the story too long. There were certain events that continued to carry us on this journey. And while we made our way through Spain, one night at all of the hotels, they all said no.
Oh dear.
I felt a bit like Mary and Joseph on Christmas Eve. You know, they said nope, 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 nope. So
no room at the end.
We had to carry on, and we ended up at a hotel at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And the young man there, younger people, they know technology. He suggested something called, have you ever heard of booking.com? I said, well, okay. So we looked it up, and I booked a hotel for the next day. It was a few years ago. I didn't know. So we signed up to a hotel for the next day, and we arrived in the middle of nowhere, Spain, absolutely desolate. The building was, there was no one around. It was dusk. Even the trees were looking a little eerie and creepy. And, you know, I sort of looked, and David said, right, you go in. I said, wait a minute. So I walk in. The place was immaculately spotless. I'm greeted by a fellow from Kent and a young woman from Belgium who made the best chips ever, or French fries for my American mates. Absolutely brilliant cook. And at the first glass of wine, they said, well, it seems like a bold move to another country that you've not been to and you can't speak the language. And I said, perhaps, or a little bit crazy. And the second glass of wine, they said, what are you going to do for money? And we said, oh, well, we're not sure. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And the third glass of wine, they said, have you ever thought about selling hot dogs?
Like you do.
Click, click, click. And it was my very first job when I was 16. I was slinging, as we say in America, I was slinging burgers, dogs, and eggs at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was the very late 70s. It was to a bunch of alcoholics, drug addicts, and folks coming out of the discotheques. So at any rate, so we said, well, we'll talk about it. We need to find our home. And we carried on. We said, no problem. So in the meantime, my friend had still been looking on pureportugal.co.uk. And we found a place. We rented a bungalow, sort of, what's it called? Like a little A-frame cabin in Goiás. It was a beautiful village up in the mountains.
Yeah, lovely place,
Yeah, beautiful place. And so we stayed there for a month while we still looked at other properties. And David said, Nina, I think I found our dream house. I said, okay, dream property. And I said, all right. And I had a look, and there was no garden. There was no land. It was just a village house. And I said, well, what makes this our dream property? And he said, well, it's blue. And I said, well, we can paint anything blue. And he said, no, it's been reduced. The price had been reduced. So it was fully furnished. If you may recall, we had just a Jeep full of our belongings, and that was it. So I said, okay, we'll sign up and have an appointment. So here we are, passing by Castelo Branco again. And we ended up in this village, and my friend is the kind of person who likes to go and look at the property before the estate agent tells them what you need to see. Yeah. And as he popped out, and I'm grabbing Luna to get her out of the car, and I looked, and I said, oh my goodness. I said, look, David, look. And he said, what? I said, look at the number. So the number above the house was 53. The number of our house that we had sold in Belfast was 53. The woman who helped us sell the house in Belfast was named Teresa, spelled Teresa. And the woman who helped us buy the house in the village was named Teresa, Teresa.
Absolutely brilliant.
Exactly. So you probably may remember, do you remember the machines, pinball machines?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
In a way, I felt as if I was in the universe's pinball machine. Yes. And every now and then, we were, as if we were sort of getting off our path, they would just sort of click, boom, and just whack us back onto the path again, give us a little tap. And because there were many other events that happened throughout this journey, I didn't want to bore the viewers too much. And I do have a tendency to go on.
Well, let me just stop you there for a minute, because we absolutely our
Sure.
community, as Louise is saying there from Solo 50 Plus Expat Portugal, I think she'll come and see you. She's loving the show already this morning on this Portugal Day, special holiday in Portugal, of course. So yeah, she's absolutely loving it. I'm sure others are too, and they will want to ask you questions. So folks, put your questions in the comments, and let's say hello to a few of you while Nina just has a little rest for a moment and gets to meet you all. So Antonio F was saying Bom dia nesta dia de Portugal, the first to say hello and to wish us a happy Portugal Day today. Catherine Nichols also here. Bom dia from Lisboa. We were formerly used to talking to her in America, now in Lisboa. Fantastic, Catherine. Jacqueline CDM here on the Silver Coast. Bon dia, everyone. Have a great Portugal Day. There's a lot of these, Nina. Bon dia from Stephen, and a bon dia from Jim White as well in Baltimore. Happy Portugal Day. Thank you, Stephen and Jim. Mark Rigby tuning in from with a bon dia from currently foggy Povoa de Varzim, north of us both. And Ella Linda, bon dia todos as well. Era Linda. Oh, Elra. It's Elra. I got that wrong yesterday. Joel is in a little bit early. He turned up at about 2 minutes before the end of the show yesterday. Good of you to turn up a little bit earlier today, Joel, from Matosinhos. From Germany this morning. Bon dia, Carl and Nina. From a sunny and warm, I think I'm going to go with, warm Wiesbaden, Germany. Ishmael Barroso is here. Bon dia from Porto this morning. Yeah, Louise, we noticed you sneaking in the back late. Paul Richards, greetings from San Rafael. Shining. The sun is shining. I thought the birds were shining. The birds may well be shining. Oh, actually, while I mention it, and I think my screen just went dim. The pitfalls of sharing an office. Oh, I see this. I plugged my charger in at one end, but there's no power going to it. So I might have to just. I should really do something about that, but I'm not sure. Or maybe we'll just have an adrenaline-filled little thrill and see how long it lasts. I don't know. In fact, no, I've solved that problem now, and now I've got a power supply draped across my lap. What could possibly go wrong? So yes, back to Sarah. The sun is shining and the birds are singing. We found paradise in the Algarve. You didn't mention it, Paul. You kept that quiet. Robert Winkel, bon dia from Provence in France. Isn't this lovely, Nina? So many people all over the world here. Hello, Cobra. The function to add photos has been disabled. Can you program to receive? I didn't change anything, Chris. Boxing coach Chris. Please try that again. I have synced up my phone. This is Nina. This is where people send in photographs, as you did, of the lovely Luna and some pictures of yourself in the cafe there, which we will get round to, believe me. Hola, bon dia from a grey and humid Southampton in the UK. On countdown, coming over, Paul. Fantastic. Or returning, I should say. Mrs. M, the astrologer. I've got a feeling with your numerological references there, Nina, you might be interested in a little bit of astrology as well. Or this is astronomy. Morning all, Mrs. M in the house and also in the studio, as is Junior. Solomon's here as well. You might have heard him. I've solved my power problem. It was literally a power struggle, but it's over now. The annual solar eclipse today and the new moon. New moon is exactly at 11:52. The eclipse maximum is at 11:41. But not sure if we'll see any of it in this part of the world in Portugal. She goes on to say, we're on the far edges of the eclipse path. We might just not notice it get eerily dusky. It usually gets quiet and the birds seem to be affected. So, and the animals, the creatures, Luna may well feel that yes. As well. Let's see who else is here. Matthew Darcy, also born here from Portland, Oregon in the USA. Neil Perkins, a rare bird, gracing our shores this morning. Bon dia, Rita went to the house to let the window guys in by herself, so I got a lie in and managed to tune in for once. There you go. Talking of rare birds, I said to Nina before we were starting, I just need to go and get a bottle of wine. I thought she was going to, she was thinking I was going to crack this open. That's tonight's wine, the Garda Rios, the Kingfisher. Red, a very special selection by Garvo. Looking forward to that tonight. So I hope you'll join us for some of that. Neil Sean is also here. No stranger to Castelo Branco, I think. Sean Maguire, Gilda Pereira, superstar Gilda, who joined us on a Monday to talk about visas. Happy Portugal Day. Nice to meet you, Nina. What a lovely community we have here. Olea bom dia from São João de Estoril, from expat writer Louise Ross, who was in the same hot seat as you once upon a time, Nina. Bon dia, Carl. Greetings from Colorado. Hello, Kia. We will have that working from home special. So you know Colorado there, Nina. Thumbs up. Bon dia todos from Jersey. Nearly there, Nina. Because we've got to get back to talking about your cafe, the hot dogs, the sloppy Joe mix, and Luna, of course. Bon dia from beautiful Lisbon, from Thunderduck. And Jacqueline as well, saying good morning. I love these personal stories. Thank you, Nina. And morning from Skipton from James, West Yorkshire, but soon to be in Portugal. Excellent news, James. That's a sunny Skipton this morning. Drew is here. Bon dia from a frozen Australia this morning. Debbie Doos, the person who put us in touch here, Nina. Great to see you on the show. You're such a lovely person, and you make everyone feel welcome at your hot dog shop, which we haven't even talked about yet. We've had the mention of hot dogs, but not the shop. We'll hopefully get you a few more customers dropping in. Your primed are good and competitive. Your prices are good and competitive. Extremely tasty. It's a review, Nina. You're always smiling. Love the new look for your shop. Wish you all the best, and well done for getting business through the COVID. Yeah, well done. Absolutely. Paula Simoish is saying hello from Geneva. Nazir Ahmed, I'm the lead developer for this Eclipse website. Bon dia, says Nazir. And Louise, just finally for now, adding, we're in Colorado. Oh, where in Colorado did Nina live? I was in Boulder, Colorado for 27 years before moving here. Can you answer that one?
Yes. If she was in Boulder, then she would know the village of Nederland, which is up above at 8,236 feet above sea level.
Oh, excellent. There you go. Netherlands. It sounds amazing. Boulder, Colorado does have a certain and special allure about it, without a doubt, doesn't it? But so does Castelo Branco, where Nina is this morning. A very special place. We've had the numerological and the name synchronicities, which must have helped you to feel you were on the right path. The universe, the divine, life itself speaking to you, Nina. Is that how it felt?
At the time, I don't think I was quite aware of it, but I did follow my instincts as best I could. Let's see, I set up the shop, I think this September will be the 26th, actually. The number 8 comes up in my life a lot too. Most fortuitous number.
Yeah.
That will be 3 years for me here. And we've had, it's been a rocky road this past year, as of course most everyone has felt.
Yeah.
So I've been just working to hang in there and keep the place open. We're doing all right. We're doing better now, which is wonderful.
Yes.
And to the folks from Colorado, I have to say hello again, because I do miss that Front Range, the Flatirons. They are beautiful. They're a very special place.
Excellent. Gorkia and Louise are very pleased to hear about Colorado this morning. Are we keeping you from customers this morning?
No, not
okay.
at all.
Good.
We are open at noon,
okay.
Tuesday through Fridays, and we close roughly between 9:30 and 10. And Saturdays we open at 11. We serve coffee service with cookies. We serve and hot dogs for whatever people need, actually. And we close roughly around 4:35, depending upon the situation. We have a little asterisk on our horario de funcionamiento, which basically means if you're here, we will stay, and if you're not, we go home.
Fantastic. That's the spirit. But Johnny is here from Belgium. Bon dia, todos. Nina, I will come for a hot dog in July. There you go. It's an advanced order. Andrew Gilchrist, bon dia all. And Nina, Louise says, I'm sending a link of this chat to British friends that live above Nederland in Rowlandsville. So there you go. You're going to connect with a few folks
in
back
Rowlandsville. Wow, yeah. Nice.
So this fella from Kent said, what about hot dogs on the third glass of wine? How did that come about? It was a prophetic moment, wasn't it?
It seems like it in a way, because it wasn't my dream to sell hot dogs at all. So it was definitely not my dream to do that. He provided an opportunity. He has a franchise, and a small franchise, which we signed up with for the first 2 years. But due to the pandemic of 2020, I had to cut costs. And unfortunately, that was one of the costs that I had to let go. And I found it was more beneficial for me to just give it a go on my own.
Yeah.
So we've been officially Nina's Hot Dog Shop for almost 1 year. So yeah, the fellow definitely provided a wonderful opportunity for me to do something to for a living, basically, to earn a living. Regrettably, I'm not necessarily earning a living. Lately, I've been joking with people, telling them I'm volunteering at the hot dog shop. So, but that's all right. We're hanging in there and we're doing the best we can, and that's good. So come on down.
Well, absolutely, absolutely, and you know we take that very seriously here. I'm putting the link, the Facebook link to your hot dog shop in Castelo Branco. We're going to talk about Castelo Branco because people, when we were talking before, the young people of Castelo Branco, I think, say to you, "Why here?" And for a lot of expats, it's like definitely here. This is amazing. The value of the place, the beauty of the place. It's a very hot target for expats to come to. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I think we need to talk a little bit more about Luna and dogs for a moment, just to resolve something that came up quite recently. I don't know how well everyone's going to see this, but this dog Gloria from the Casella Dog Haven, sent in from Dave and Debbie Wynell. They wanted me to announce a missing dog over 2 weeks ago, and I have to admit, it got buried, and I didn't manage to read this out. But the great news is she was found, I think, some 17 days later. So Gloria is safe and well, and that's a lovely thing to be able to report.
Yay, and that's great.
Isn't it? And here's a lovely picture again. On the right of the screen there, below the Barcelo cockerel, of course, is Luna. And you told me a beautiful story related to this breed of the Luna is that's been made famous in a film. Could you go through that for us again?
Absolutely. I am always happy to talk about dogs, whether it be a hot dog in a bun or the actual critter. The Akita is it's an ancient breed from Japan originally, and they were mostly in the mountains of Japan. They were utilized by the samurai caste, which, if you think about the samurais, essentially they were nomadic mercenaries. And the Akita is a highly intelligent, extremely athletic dog. They were warrior dogs. They were used for hunting bear, deer, and boar. Apparently, they used to have armor on the dogs. And so they nearly lost the breed about 3 different times over the course of about 150 years. And the Japanese preferred the German Shepherd to bring the breed back, whereas the Americans preferred the Mastiffs and the Great Danes. Sometimes I giggle. I'm like, oh, Americans, we just love to make everything bigger and better. So needless to say, there was an Akita named Hachiku. There was a professor who somehow or another acquired this puppy, and it became the name Hachiku. And Hachiku would escort the professor every morning to the train station, where he would take the train to go to the university to teach. And the Hachiku would stay or meander about, but he was always there at the train station when the professor returned from the university. One day, the professor did not return, and no one explained to Hachiku that the professor had died at the university. Hachi basically stayed at the train station for the remainder of Hachi's life, which was quite a few years. The people from the train station, the people who worked there, they knew who the dog was, so they slowly but surely began to look after him, gave him food, gave him water. But Hachi never left. He always waited for his professor to return home. I'm getting chills right now every time I tell the story.
Yeah.
And so at some point, of course, Hachi moved on and rejoined his beloved professor. I'm about to tear up again.
Okay. It doesn't take much to get me going, Nina, so don't worry about it. You're among friends here.
At any rate, so what had happened, and this occurred approximately about 100 years ago. And so the tale was told around the country in Japan. And when the people and the government of Japan learned of Hachi's devotion and complete loyalty to his humans, so to speak, they made the Akita their national dog, and they built a statue for him. And so there is still currently a statue outside of the train station where apparently people from all around the world, especially in Japan, go to visit to, you know, stroke and have their photographs. I think it's called the selfie with the dog. And that's the story of Hachi.
Yeah, and Neil loves the film. Such a great film, Hachi, with Richard Gere in there.
A very handsome Richard Gere, I might add. Yeah. There's a man who's aged gracefully.
Pass the tissue, says Louise, and we have a picture of the Akita there in samurai dress, battle dress, courtesy of the Kimono Gallery there, as you might expect. You're tuned in to the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. My guest is Nina, live from Castelo Branco. Nina's from the aforementioned Nina's hot dog shop cafe, where I believe you provide an amazing service. You speak to a lot of young people there, and I think your prices are pitched towards their budget. And it just sounds like that must be a lovely relationship that you have with the young people of Castelo Branco. And you were saying when we were talking before we came on air, oh yeah, we were up late. You were up late making sloppy Joe mix. This is a favourite, and I've never heard of it before. This is a favourite among the youngsters, right? Of Castelo Branco, it would seem.
Yes. Our sloppy sandwich of the sloppy Joe. So sloppy Joes are a classic comfort food in America. We absolutely adore it. So if you can think of it like a nice sloppy, messy, goopy hamburger, only it's not in a burger form. So it's your minced beef, and it's mixed with a mirepoix, and it's in a tomato-based sauce, lots of garlic, and a little bit of white beans, and we put it on a Portuguese roll. A little bolinha is what it's called, which means ball. So it's a nice little ball of bread, and it's only €2, and it's tasty, it's filling, it's good, it's messy. You get to lick your fingers afterward. It's wonderful. It's a really nice sandwich.
Sounds amazing. And hold on a minute, qu'est-ce que c'est le mirepoix?
The mirepoix. A mirepoix is carrots, celery, and onion. So it's the classic base of all sauces and stews and so forth.
Oh, I see. Wow. And this is all the amazing culinary skill that you've brought with you from your previous work and career, right?
Yes. I actually had the good fortune to apprentice with a chef named Robert Sandal in the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I grew up as a child and a young adult. I began apprenticing with him, I think, at about the age of 30. He was classic French trained, has a beautiful catering service called All in Good Taste. And I worked with him for several years. And so I learned a great deal through him, which was really wonderful. I really enjoyed working with him. Yeah.
It just slipped out in the conversation there. Go on.
Sorry?
It was just lovely how you mentioned you threw in a French culinary term there, which I didn't know myself. This is so educational from so many aspects this morning. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're all right. I just wanted to say that I think that the young people here, they're all, of course, of the millennial generation.
Yeah.
And I'm really quite fond of them. I think that the ones here, especially the ones here in Portugal and in Castelo Branco, if they are indicative of the entire generation, then we have a lot of good faith, and we can rest easy that we will be well cared for. This is a great group of people. I find that they help keep me young at heart, so to speak. And I'd like to think, and I hope, that I am providing a place of comfort, of safety, of fun, and the occasional good story, you know, for folks who pass by and perhaps sit down with a hot sandwich and a cold drink, or a cup of coffee and a cookie and watch sunset. That's what I'm hoping I'm providing for folks. So
I've no doubt that you
keep it going.
I've no doubt that you are, and you're starting me off again. First of all, with your tearjerker movie story about the dog, and now your relationship with the millennial generation, who are facing a really tough future in some ways, aren't they? You know, and
yes.
They get a lot of criticism as well, quite unfairly, I think. And it's up to us to provide the sort of thing you're providing, I think, and you know, examples rather than criticism. So I think that's amazing what you're doing. It's easy to have a go at youngsters, and it's up to us, isn't it, to set a good example and to provide a great place for them to grow up in, rather than telling them that their politics or their views or they're too woke or this, that, or the other. So yeah, big shout out and big up and lots of love to the millennials this morning, and we can do better for them, I'm sure.
There you go.
Here we go. Absolutely. Gilda says, hold on, the best is yet to come, my dear. That's from Gilda in Lisboa from EI Migrant Migration Services there. And she is an inspirational person in her own right, just like you are, Nina. So that's great, from one inspirational sister to another. We're going to come back to some specific questions about Castelo Branco, as we are hoping to do. But another hope this morning was that Luna would be on the show. So she's away with friends, having a little spa break or something, is she, at the moment?
Actually, and here's my opportunity to be able to say thank you to Miss Debbie Dews. Miss Debs and Dave are looking after Luna. They're kind enough to take care of her a couple of days a week for me. It's not fair for Luna to sit here for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And so she either visits a doggy daycare center a couple of days a week, or she spends time with Dave and Debs, and she gets to go swimming, and she gets to chase cats, and she has a wonderful time and goes for walks and so forth. So she has a good time. She doesn't hurt the kitty cats. She just gets to play with them and keep them in line.
Thank you for pointing that out.
She does visit the shop in the evenings a couple of nights a week. So if you want to come see her, she's here a couple of nights a week.
Oh, that's a lovely bonus. That's fantastic. Okay, Base Orbit also here. Bon dia todos from Colorado as well this morning. A lovely set of emoticons there. And yeah, there's a bit of chat. Thank you, Antonio F, for taking care of the room in the way that you are there. A lovely dog, says Noor as well. El Shrif. Nina, do you know, we're talking about dogs quite a lot, aren't we, obviously, and quite rightly so. Nina, do you know something about the Serra Estrella dog character, in terms of its character? So the national dog of Japan, the Akita, covered. What can you tell us about the Serra Estrella dog, which I think Barack Obama had a couple of those, right?
No, he had the Portuguese water dog. That's what he had.
Yeah, okay.
And apparently it's a lovely dog. I do not know much about the Portuguese water dog, except that it doesn't shed. That I do know. The Serra Estrella is a beautiful dog. Large, like tall. They're tall, not quite as large as a Great Dane, and or an Irish Wolfhound, but I would say just a little smaller than the Great Dane.
Yeah.
They have a bit more of a look of the hound look, though they are a shepherd dog. They look after the sheep. They were used apparently to protect the sheep, keep the wolves at bay, that kind of thing. Like the Akita, they are very intelligent and fiercely independent, we shall say. A more positive way than to say stubborn. They're very, very cute, and they're quite intelligent. They're usually really good-natured dogs, and they're quite fierce in terms of guard dogs. They're very fierce in their ability to guard. Generally speaking, they're pretty laid back.
Yep, they look beautiful. Look at that little puppy in the middle there. I mean, you can't go looking at those without coming home with one. So be careful, folks, going seeing puppies and that sort of thing, as Nina said earlier on. Absolutely beautiful. Not just for Christmas, we should remind people. That's wonderful. Come back. come back to Castelo Branco in just a moment. Thank you, Nazir and Antonio F, for getting that conversation started in the comments. We love the show, says Base Orbit. Good morning, Portugal. Now takes over from our #1 slot from Morning Joe Show on MSNBC. Check us out, Nina, competing with the big fish. João Dias, real estate consultant in Portugal. Hey, what do you do for a living, João? Bon dia to you, Nina. And a lovely bit of shamrock, I think, or Irish clover or something like that. Lucky clover for you. Slanja. Brilliant. Base Orbit, I agree. This show is better in the morning. How lovely, Kia. Thank you very much. Wonderful stories, says Brian, to start this morning. I'm very interested in her experiences in Castelo Branco, as I myself am looking to buy a farm in that area. So I'll come back to Phoebe in just a moment. Nina, do the young people see a future to live and work in this region? Do you see a change? That's a lovely question.
Regrettably, it's been challenging for them, quite challenging. We are in what's called the Beira Baixa, which is the interior. So we're actually quite close to the Spanish border.
Yeah.
We are about 60 kilometers, and so it's very rural, more rural. We have lots of small villages that are around the city. We have a bit of a joke about the city. We say it's now pequena cidade, it's grande aldeia. So it's not a small city, it's a big village. Essentially, it's been a little challenging for them, as they've told me. Most of the town here is actually a bit of a college town. So we have, I think, 3 or 4 small colleges that are geared. One's geared for the arts, one's geared for sports. What's the word? Like sports, physical therapy and sports medicine and that kind of thing. Yeah. Another one is with technology. So they're learning their computer. They know much more about computers than I do. And so we have, several high schools as well. So we have our range of students range from 15 to 25. Many of them, regrettably, do need to find work in other places, typically the larger cities such as Lisboa or Porto, or many of them want to go travel, which of course I encourage them. I said, don't worry about the dogs, cats, mortgages, kids, marriages, all that stuff. Go travel, enjoy life for a while, then go back to that if you want.
Absolutely. Oh, you're such a resource to them. It's wonderful. So there you go, Johnny. That's an answer to your question there. I do invite people to send pictures in. Here's Collins. Collins says, "This is my hot dog this morning." Well, that's a lazy old creature enjoying life to the fullest there. What's her name, Colin? Let us know in the comments. Any other pictures of pets, very welcome. I've got to say, update on Jimmy Chew, my youngest dog. We've got old Peggy, who turned up one day, who is just part of the family. And I was thinking last night, she's been with us for a couple of years now. And every time the car door opens, she's in there. She's not going anywhere. She's sticking with us. I guess she gets in other people's cars as well. She just loves being with people. Little terrier. Jimmy Chew, he was, somebody said to me, your children want a puppy, don't they? Of course they do. And we'd had the same experience as you. We couldn't leave. And we've got Jimmy Chew now. He's suffering a bit of constipation, I have to say. Sorry if everyone's having their breakfast this morning, but I was quite. Sorry, I'm going to be a little bit indelicate now. But I have to say, Ginetta is the name of that lovely creature we saw there. Thank you, Colin. I was boasting the other day. Oh, Portugal is so traditional and lovely. We still have white dog poo here. But actually, I've discovered it's not a laughing matter. His constipation is to do with the bones that I've been buying him in good faith, and I think you have to balance it up a bit. So we're working with Jimmy at the moment on easing that rather awkward situation. Any tips gratefully received. But he's doing well. So where were we? The young people of Castelo Branco. Oh, yeah. Talk of Castelo Branco, of course. And the first question specifically about the city, which isn't really a city, it's a big village. And that is a good thing in my view. I mean, I think the locals might think, the locals might think, you can't do anything around here without people knowing. But I mean, that's a good thing. And they will miss that if it goes, I'm sure. First question from Nazir. How good is transport there, Nina?
It's very good, actually. We have an excellent public school. Public service bus system. The buses do very well. All the villages have, most of the villages have buses that leave first thing in the morning and definitely return in the evening. During the school year, they have buses midday so that they can return the children back to the villages. So it's really quite good. The train station, I'm right across from the train station, by the way, which I also found a little odd that I have an Akita and a hot dog shop right across from a train station.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
going back to Hachi, you know, in the old
Yes,
story.
indeed.
So yeah, public transportation is quite good, and the city is small enough that you can walk to most places. It's, I think, at the longest stretch, it's just 2 kilometers wide.
Yeah.
So you can walk from one end to the other. It would take
Yeah.
a while because you know everyone, and you have to chit chat and say hello all the way through your travels.
I think it's a lovely city. Yeah, we did visit once for a weekend. Absolutely loved the place. And we should say it's very hot there at times. You know, for those of
It
you
is.
who are basing your decision on avoiding the intense heat of the summer, might not be for you. But for those who love that and who love to be close to Spain, it is a tremendous city. There you go. 3 bus lines and a train station that connects with other towns. Nazir's question was, how do you compare it with Lisbon? I mean, you have experience of both cities. Is there a comparison to be made there? What would you say about that, Nina?
Lisboa, of course, is a world-class city. It's a beautiful place. It's a fun place to be a tourist. I don't know at all what it's like to live there, but it has all those wonderful opportunities as a world-class city that it is. Castelo Branco, I think, offers quite a lot of, it has cultural events, it has the arts, and we have a big, beautiful library here. We have a car rally this weekend, which we're very excited about. And we have bicycle rallies, Portugal has equal to a Tour de France. They have their own bicycle race, and that comes through Castelo Branco. The wonderful thing about Castelo Branco is that it's very safe. It's quiet. It's calm. It's a place where you can feel comfortable walking at, 9 o'clock at night, or 2 in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the morning. We have, I learned a term through a book about how to buy property in Portugal, written by, I think, a woman. I believe her first name was Gabrielle, but I can't remember her surname. And she coined the term granny mafia. So the granny mafia knows, hears, sees, and speaks all. And they are our surveillance. So we are always safe due to the granny mafia. So
absolutely, the Donna Network. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, beware of the Donna Network. They know, they see you.
They do. They do. And, it's quite beautiful here. We have the Avenida, which is just down right around the corner from us, and they have these gorgeous old trees, about a couple of hundred of them, that they light up with beautiful Christmas lights during the Christmas season. They have Christmas music and carols that they play for the month of December through approximately the 5th of January, which, as a business owner, it gets a little repetitive, but we're fine with it because it's quite lovely. It's cheerful, and it's very family oriented. It's quiet. It's peaceful. It's friendly. It's a good little town. I like it.
Superb. And I might have called you Brian earlier on. Bjorn, do forgive me. So we're hearing about Nina's experiences in Castelo Branco, and I think it's safe to say that she would recommend you buy a farm in that area, as a lot of people do. Out in the sticks around Castelo Branco, you've got a great city to visit when you need it, and there are so many great value and beautiful quintas in that region, aren't there, Nina?
Yes, there are. I actually ended up not purchasing a land. I ended up purchasing my friend and I ended up purchasing the village house. It was fully furnished, and it's just perfect because for those people who don't want to be gardeners and they don't want to work, they just want to rest or go and travel a bit, there are lots of properties that are also what they call lock and leave. And they're wonderful. You just lock them up and go, and you come back. They're wonderful that way.
There you go.
And I love the little village that I live in is just splendid. It's also a estrangeros. expats, full of expats from all around Europe, and actually we have folks from all around the world there, as a matter of fact. So it's a nice place.
Sounds like a little United Nations in the outback of Castelo Branco. They're fantastic.
It is actually. You're right. Well said.
Base Orbit says we have our first appointment with children in about a week. Thank you, Francesca, Astrid, and all at Expats Portugal for helping us move forward with the D7 visa. It is our pleasure. It's what we do, and that's Randy, real name Randy, behind the moniker of Base Orbit. There, I have a couple of dogs, a couple of captive dogs. Oh, I walk a couple of captive dogs twice a day, and haven't done this morning's walk yet. They'll be waiting. I have to go and catch a replay. We totally understand, Louise. Absolutely right. Bjorn says, not sure if this is a weird question. We specialize in those, Bjorn, not a problem. But do I detect a Dutch accent? I don't think you do you, with Nina here?
Oh, it's funny. I'm often questioned as to whether or not I'm German. And my mother is from Germany, and German was my first language. And English was my second language. Ich habe nicht Deutsch gesprochen seit 16 Jahren. And I also lived in Canada, and I lived in Ireland and Northern Ireland, and now I'm learning Portuguese, not very well, but I'm doing my best. And so my accent is a salad. It's a salad. So that's, so no, not Dutch.
Okay, but understandable how you would get to that conclusion, Bjorn, I think. Oh, so sorry, Thunderduck's real name is Randy, and Thunderduck is telling Base Orbit, forgive me for mixing your names up there. Your Gilda's team will make that happen. Colin's late. Colin Richardson, not Colin Ross Jones. Colin and Ross Jones and Jeanette are tuning in. Jeanette's looking a little bit sleepy, it has to be said this morning. Sorry for being late at assembly, says Colin Richardson. I had to take Hachi to his office. Oh, that's tricky. First time back in the office after 15 months. That must be really, really weird, doing that. Morning talk about Jimmy Poo. No, Jimmy Choo, not Jimmy Poo. But yes, nicely done there, Stephen Wells. Look at this. No sooner asked than responded. I'm house sitting a dog that is fed bones daily and has that problem. The owner makes a powdered fiber product and puts it in the drinking water. There you go. Thank you for that. Castelo Branco stats from Antonio F. That's fantastic. How's your weather today? Asks Johnny.
Let's see. I think right now, in the mornings, very late, between about, I would say right now it's probably about 25 to 29. It's going up to about 34, 35 today. We are in the 30s now, and it will be that way until we get up into the 40s. And then, but at night it cools down, and between approximately 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. is the coolest time of the day. It's wonderful.
Oh, very interesting. So that, and people change their habits to enjoy that, I guess. That's very interesting.
We do, actually. Once the summer heat returns, most of us, especially the farmers, they're up at about 5:30 at the latest. They're already out of the door. And most everyone goes out to the fields and works and returns by 11 a.m. They have their lunch and coffee, and then they rest. And then most folks come back out after 7:30, 8:30 in the evening once the sun sets. And it's nice and cool, and then everyone gets together and they socialize and they have their coffees and their beers or wine and regroup and say hello. So we split our days. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it's like having 2 days, isn't it? Fantastic. Johnny, how Nina came to be in Castelo Branco is documented in the earlier part of the show. So do catch up on that. Capricorn 12, bon dia, all late to the party this morning due to an early morning meeting. What is all this work that people are suddenly doing? Outrageous. Catch you all tonight. Colin is referring to the webinar this evening. We have the most amazing and inspirational. We've got an inspirational woman sandwich today, I'll tell you, with Nina in the morning. Chitra Stern is with us at night, talking about, well, all about Lisbon, investing, working, and living in Lisbon tonight. See, of course, behind the incredible Martinelli residencies, resorts, and so on, as well as being a leading light in putting Lisbon on the world stage, really. She's been in Portugal, I think, for over 20 years, Singaporean origin. opened up the school there. When we spoke to her a few months ago, she was opening up the school in the Park of Nations as well. So a remarkable woman talking about a remarkable city from 7:30 this evening. Register for that on expatsportugal.com. Nina's just have we kept you too long, Nina? Possibly.
I'm coming right back.
Coming right back. I'm thinking, I'd love a hot dog right now.
No, I know. Forgive me. I just realized that the phone is about to lose its charge.
Well, maybe whilst you're doing that and you're holding your phone, can we have a quick tour of the shop?
Of course. Right here are the photographs of my beautiful doggy, the mascot of our shop. It's not set up. The Esplanade is not set up. If I put it out, then people would think it was open. So we'll just do a quick sort of turn this way. It's a very small little place, but we have a lovely view with gorgeous trees and so forth.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this. It's a little bit. There we go.
Got you
It's
before
just a very small little place.
Yeah.
We have the Louvre there.
Lovely. Yeah.
And there we go. So I did my best to show the best part of the place for now.
Absolutely. And a lovely hot dog mustard color there that you've got going on. It's a
little brighter, I think. Thanks to Debs and Dave, they were kind enough to help me with remodeling, which was wonderful, repainting and giving us a new look. So that was very helpful. That was really nice. And because we changed our colors and did a little decorating, and we have 4 tables out there for the Esplanade. We have gorgeous sunsets, really beautiful sunsets here. That's one thing that we have on this street, which is lovely compared to the Docas, which they have an area called the Docas to equal that of Lisbon, which is adorable. The only water is a lovely big fountain, but it's really sweet.
That sounds like a little bit of local humor. Fantastic. Thank you, Nina, for the detailed information, says Nazia. Fantastic 50s. Claire is here. Bon dia. I like Castelo Branco. There is a cinema and a bowling alley. All mod cons there then. Gary Austin, I know Castelo Branco is hot in summer, but is it cold in the winter? What are your winter temperatures like there, Nina?
This past winter, we had a bit of a chilly one, though I actually really enjoy the winters here. We get rain, we get lower temperatures. I miss the rain a little bit from Ireland and Northern Ireland. So it will drop down, on average, I would say it's probably about 8 to 10 during the day. At night, it can occasionally drop down to -1, -2, -3. Out in the countryside, it would be a little bit colder than in the city. But that's when you get your wood stove, get it roaring and have your glass of wine in front of the fire. It's always nice that way.
Lovely, fantastic. Capricorn 12, after watching the Indie Project and OK Portugal for a few years religiously, Castelo Branco does appeal to me to purchase a lock-up and leave in that region. Looks totally relaxing. It is awesome. You've got to visit. Absolutely. Put it on your list of places to consider. Morning. Cannot stay and listen to your show, says Jacqueline Branco this morning. Going out to do volunteering work, helping a couple of families. Have a great day. Good on you, Jacqueline. Sean, quite right in hearing a bit of Northern Irish there. He would know. Well spotted, Sean. Top of the morning to you. Bon dia. Sorry I'm late, says Pam. Looking forward to visiting Castelo Branco someday. You know, if you go by train, you got to pop across and have a hot dog with Nina. Bon dia, Malta. Very colloquial greeting there from Joao Gloria. Can I give canned pumpkin high fiber as a safe dog food? You can give. It's not a question. It's a statement.
Yes,
okay.
That's true.
There's a thing. There's a thing. Thank you, Jacqueline, for that tip. The dog constipation tip there. I didn't know that was coming this morning. I promise. Try some olive oil or some sort of fat from cooking in Jimmy's meals. It's coming in thick and fast, unlike the problem we're trying to solve. Lock and leave in a city house. Living in the city is nice and easy. Will be in the future. First, I hope to have a few years off grid with our horses in Penamacore. As long as we can, says Johnny. That's beautiful as well. Lovely community in Penamacore as well. Agreed. Castelo Branco. Morning, Max. How you doing? Castelo Branco, worth a visit. Max sings the praises of the Algarve, and so that's high praise indeed. And a happy Portugal Day, everyone, from Gary Austin. Okay, so let's conclude, shall we, Nina? Thank you. You've been so giving and generous with your time this morning. But Debbie Dews was asking about the menu. Please tell us about the alternatives of your menu. You do some specials there, I believe.
Yes, we have. We sell beef sausages, pork sausages that come from Germany. They are a minimum of 75% of meat or more, so they're quite delicious. I've had my share of hot dogs in America, and these are top notch. These are very good.
Yes.
At baseball parks in America. And then we also have a beautiful vegetarian option for sausage. It's a Portuguese product, and it's soy and quinoa. And I have lots of vegetarian options, including a vegan chili, which is nice and spicy. My meat eaters love it. I also make a chili con carne, which is a meat-based chili, and we have jalapeno peppers and fresh chilies and spicy mayonnaises if we want a hot, spicy hot dog. And we have lovely, for the heat, we have what's called cool as a cucumber with nice fresh lettuce and cucumbers and red onions. And so we have lots of different options. And we have the Cancun, we have the Colorado, we have lots of ideas. We have the Pittsburgh dog as a homage to my hometown that I grew up in as a child, which is a delicious coleslaw, house-made coleslaw with Debbie Dew's trick of a little bit of cream in the mayonnaise. And it's delicious on top of a hot dog. Gorgeous, nice, cool and crispy sandwich. Also, I just wanted to share with folks that we're right across from the train station. And another beautiful thing about the city in Castelo Branco is we have a castle.
Ooh.
And hence its name, Castelo Branco.
Cool.
And apparently it used to be painted white to show off its stature, to ward off the enemies. Look at our large castle, it's substantial and so forth. And it's a great place to go walk up to and has extraordinary panoramic views. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know that. Luna has been there 3 times, but I have not visited the castle yet. So, and there's some exquisite gardens that go with it too.
Yeah, Castelo Branco Castle is wonderful. I mean, it's such a lovely city to walk about, and we found that. Did you mention sauerkraut?
Yes, I have a gorgeous classic New York dog with sauerkraut, 2 different mustards, and lovely little bit of pickle, if you like, on it. It's gorgeous.
Superb. The vegans, the vegetarians loving it, says Randy there. Matthew Darcy, my wife thanks you for the vegan vegetarian options. And the castle is 800 years old. How about that? That's some proper culture.
Oh, good to know.
All right. I'm putting the name up. I mean, the name of your shop is Nina's Hot Dogs Castelo Branco City. That's as you'll find it on Facebook. And I've actually put
Nina's Hot Dog Shop. Hot Dog Shop.
There you go, Nina Hot Dogs, that you can find through that link there. Please go like the page. Are you and also Bitcoin question of the day, crypto question of the day. Do you accept Bitcoin in your shop?
No, we're only a cash-based business right now. I don't even have the multi-banco, as they say. It's a little expensive, the machines are, to use them. But I'm going to learn how to use the MB way. I'm going to learn how to do that. I need to learn these things. And I promised the young people I was going to learn how to use Instagram. So I'm going to figure that out too.
Well, they sound like such a resource to you. And I guess that's the way that millennials will want to pay. They'll want to pay with their phones and not with cash. Talking about those folks there. I mean, we hear you. We hear you. You've done an amazing job in getting through the pandemic time. Hopefully that's appearing smaller in the rearview mirror now as we go into a new future that we're co-creating together. And I wonder, are there other ways people can help and support you? Doing any pay it forward? Could someone bung a coffee for somebody to have, or buy a millennial a hot dog or something like that to help a little bit with the cash flow?
Jeepers, I think the young people would love it if somebody wants to buy them a hot dog. They would be thrilled. I'm just trying to think what we have an option. Often we do have a few folks that need help. I have some American friends who are part of the Church of Jesus Christ, and they do a lot of support and help for folks, especially the poor. They help them with food, they help them with clothing, they help them with finding a job, things like that. So I know folks that folks can help out with that, and I can connect them to Wayne and Renee if they need that kind of help. But absolutely, if somebody wants to come by and buy a hot dog for a millennial, they'll be thrilled. They'll be absolutely excited about that.
Or yeah, maybe somebody in the States, wants to herald their arrival in a few months' time. And here's a round of hot dogs for your best millennial regulars from somebody in the States. Wouldn't that be amazing if they turned up?
That would be incredible.
And
the kids are. The young people here are really enamored with the United States. They think it's just a wonderful place, and they want to travel and they want to go see things based upon the movies that they see.
Yeah.
So they think that it's what they see. But I do remind them. I said, well, do you remember in the films there are lots of guns in the films? Unfortunately, that's the case in the United States. You have to be careful sometimes, So
exactly like that. Okay. Nina, you've been amazing this morning, folks. If you want to talk to Nina more, I mean, the least we can do is go like your page, and when we're next in Castelo Branco, come in and visit, have a coffee, have a hot dog, maybe get involved in some pay it forward business and buy a mystery millennial a hot dog. Wouldn't that be an amazing surprise? If you're a Portuguese,
I like that. That's a great idea.
If you're a
great idea, I really like that.
Yeah, it would be amazing if you're a college student and Nina is able to say, this is on the house from a mystery buyer who believes that you are our future. That'd be so great. Nina,
I love that idea.
We're making people hungry, or you are. I'm getting hungry. See you in July. Vic and Johnny from Belgium. And great show. Castelo Branco is now on our visit list. So the mayor owes you a drink as well, I think, there, Nina. Did we miss anything before you go?
Well, I don't know. I just want to say thanks so much for this opportunity. And I'm really grateful. It's been lots of fun. And I want to thank everyone who's been so kind and supportive. And I have a group of young people that have been coming visiting me every Tuesday for the past 2.5 years. I've been watching them grow up, and they're graduating this year. And my heart is a little sad because I know they're going to leave, and I'm also full of joy for them because they're starting out on their new adventure in life, So I want to wish them well and lots of love and light and peace and happiness for them. So, and good luck. We all need that. We all need that. And come on down if you want to have a story, watch a sunset, and we look forward to meeting you all. Truly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I can feel another film script coming on with you as in that role there of being an inspiration to these young people that you've mentioned, as I'm sure you are. And you never know how you've touched their hearts and minds with your everyday interactions, but I'm sure you have, and they'll remember you when they're in America or wherever else they go visiting in the world. And I think, yeah, Nina did say that. Nina and Luna back in our hometown. We must go and visit her. Thank you so much, and lots of love to Luna from us all.
Thank you so much, Carl. I wish you a great day, and bon feriado.
Yes, bon feriado. Igualmente. Ciao, ciao. Beijinhos, abrazos. Ciao, ciao. Hasta luego.
Ciao, ciao.